what they saw was devastation. They'd left a sort of a normal world the night before and walked out into this hell on earth the next day. Fire everywhere, smoke, it was drizzling in the morning. So it actually formed like a fog over the city. And there were buildings still burning a week later. They sort of walked around in these ruins and there were dead strewn all over the place. Body parts, everything. Probably wondered if it was the end of the world, effectively, because walking out into that, you would. I always remember one chap said he was one of the fire watchers in the council house. He left the council house in the morning, and amongst all that devastation he heard a starling singing, and he thought that was a sign of hope. Yeah, it was basically the centre took the brunt of the bombing. It took out most of the area, which is now the precinct and all that area, plus a lot of the side streets, and a lot of districts were hit around the city. It's interesting because at the time they said the sort of main things you could smell walking around this sort of misty mess that was here. They said the main smells were gas, plaster dust and brick dust. No one had actually gone through, not in a concentrated area like that. But London had been bombed, but London could sort of, it sounds silly to say, but London could take it more because London was a bigger city. Coventry was a small place. Nowhere had actually had that sort of intense bombing before. But they said literally within a short time people's resolve had changed. It had totally gone the opposite. And even on the same day you were getting people outside their bombed homes and they were putting up notices telling Hitler what they thought about him. It was a strength of the people at the time. And of course it helped as well with a visit from the King, because the King came and visited and he had a look at the cathedral. And of course we still have a pillar there that marks where he stood in the ruins. He said it reminded him of a town in France in the First World War. And they all cheered him on the steps of the council house. Then of course Churchill came a couple of days later. Of course he helped to build up people's resolve pretty quickly, and war industry had been damaged. It was interrupted effectively, because within a week most places were up and running again, and some places it was all up and running within about 7 weeks.
But we will rebuild, and we will stay together.
There's a lot of people wanted to rebuild the old cathedral, which had been described by Wren as architecturally magnificent. So they effectively wanted to get their old cathedral back, which had been there. You know, you're talking about a church that had been there since, you could go back into the 12th century, and it used to be called St Michael's in the Bailey, and it was a chapel within the Bailey of the castle. And of course you had other people thought we could have another cathedral. So there was a competition held for the best design, and of course who won it was Sir Basil Spence, and he put forward this thing which was based on a vision. He'd come to visit the old cathedral and look through one of the windows on the north side and saw a vision, so he said, of this new building through glass and this huge tapestry beyond.